Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another chapter of Adventures in the Ink. I'm Scott, and joining me, as always, are Matt and Mike. How are you guys doing tonight?
Happy to be here.
Doing good.
I'm glad to hear it. For our viewers tonight, we are doing a little bit different than what we've done in the past. Tonight, all three of us, have built a brand new deck. These are not decks that we normally play with. We've built these decks specifically for the tonight's podcast. They are built entirely around the new Dual Ink cards from Arcasia's Island coming out in a couple of weeks. So, how much fun did you guys have going through these new cards?
I thought it was a really good way to, especially with the dual link cards and my deck in particular, like get more familiar with the cards because a lot of mine, well, not a lot, but about three of the cards are very play well off of each other. So I get better experience knowing, okay, is this actually a good card? How would I want this in a future deck, even if I don't make the deck exactly like how I have it now. So I liked it a lot.
It was fun. I'm gonna be honest. I felt like I had more fun messing around with my deck than with my own. Cause I actually had a chance to get on Ink Table and play with both of you guys' deck, and I thought mine. I enjoyed mine. It was good for a theme deck. But I definitely don't think I'll be taking it to a tournament. But I think it have some stuff there, and I think maybe if it gets a little bit more support, but we'll see.
hmm How about you, Scott?
I had fun going over the new cards. I haven't gone over a lot of the new cards. I specifically just was looking at new cards that would work for this deck that I was building, which I really want to build in real life because I think I'm gonna enjoy the deck I built. So yeah, it was fun. One thing I did notice, and I'm just as I'm going over the decks right now, I was paying attention to which one of us leaned heavily into the new cards and which one of us didn't lean heavily into new cards. So that was a little interesting fact I just noticed.
Who do you think
Yeah,
leading the most into the new cards?
yeah, and that's one thing. Like as you started talking, and I'm just like, did we say we wanted to lean heavily into new cards? Because I
Yeah.
didn't
No,
factor that in. I was just like, I picked the two do color cards, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna build around them because these two have the same keywords.
Yeah, that's fair.
my deck, just because of the keywords of what my deck deals with, is specifically to Arcasia's Island. So I kind of had to lean more into the new cards.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely chose the one or two cards and said, okay, let me just try to. I mean, you'll see it when we reveal my tech, but just as much as I can lean into this theme.
Okay, so before we get into the cards, let's just go over a quick couple of things just to get our listeners on board. Matt, I'll start with you. What exactly are the dual ink colors cards and how do they work?
I feel like we did that have a link to previous episodes in here, but
You
so
probably could, but this is for those that aren't watching the
yeah.
previous episodes.
So the reflector is now with the new set. Uh, you are getting cards that are two colored, and those cards have to be played in a deck specifically with those two colors. Um, and we're gonna throw a few later when we actually get to the deck building. But yeah, it's the new mechanic that for them to develop with to help support specific builds, and also to make it a little bit more fun with the game design and balancing.
When we set out to build these decks, we separated not the cards, but we separated the colors out. So each one of our decks are dealing with two colors that no one else is dealing with. Did that limit you on how you normally build decks before? Are you dealing with colors you don't deal with, or how was that experience with you guys?
Well, for me, I we kind of assigned the colors beforehand. Or well, the idea was you choose a dual link beforehand, and then you stick to those colors because those are the two colors you have to do. Um, but it was a little bit more restrictive because as soon as you choose that one card, your entire deck is kind of, even if you build around it, has to be those colors. Where previously, if I had, oh, here's an emerald card that I really like, I could say, let's build the emerald core out that fits around this card, and now I can branch off into different ink colors and say which one is better. But this really pigeonholed you, like you gotta find what you gotta find in these two colors.
Yeah, when I built my microbot deck, I tried that in two different pairings before I found the one I liked. And it and like when you do that, the deck play slightly differently, and they have slightly different focus, and you have different options. But yeah, with the dual colored being like you have to do in D2 colored, it make it a lot more limiting. But it also make it like okay, I'm just looking at D2 colored.
For me, I didn't find much different than how I build my regular decks, but that's also because my regular decks are never highly competitive. So I just had fun building this deck just like I have fun building all of my other decks. And that brings me to my next question. When you build decks, are you guys more character driven, synergy driven, theme driven?
Uh, oh, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I am sanity driven all the way. It to me feels so good when all my cards play off of each other. Like I love it when like all cards work toward a common goal. That to me is the best. Like I love like a magic tribal deck. I love it when all decks, all cards in the deck work to the same thing or same trigger, same thing. So like if you're playing a deck that like, oh look for like the pirate deck, like the Jim Hawkins, they're like, oh, you play him, you look at the top card you get, grab all the pirates. Like I'm the subbing that many pirates in that deck as possible to get the most out of cards like that.
Yeah, I would say I'm slightly less than Matt. Like I like having a good theme and having a good like goal. If I'm designing a deck, say this is what this deck should be doing. Like here's how it's going to achieve victory. But I will purposely take out cards if I'm like this is just a terrible pirate. Whereas I feel like Matt's more likely to just be like, ah, it's part of the theme, you know.
It depends on if I have better options, but that's normally how phase one is. Phase one is I'll throw all of the type in, and then after that I'm like, okay, so this is what the parts that are working, and this is the parts that aren't working. So I take out the parts that don't working, and then I replace them with the all around good cards.
Hmm. Yeah, I think what Matt said there is important to remember if you are new to building decks or, you know, for any kind of trading card game, everything is a draft. To just consider like, you know, no card, even the best cards should be auto includes, but come up with something, a 60 whatever card list that you want to play with, and you have to play it to learn how each one is interacting and then refine, go back, make a couple changes, play some more games. That's how you're going to uncover the best deck for you.
When I build a deck, I am strictly theme. Um, whether it be a based around a certain keyword or I base it around a franchise. That I am always 100% must be on theme. I don't care synergy. I don't care. This has to be the theme.
Makes it, I don't know, sometimes it makes it more fun because then you have to, you know, like I said last episode, restriction breeds creativity. You have to come up with fun ways to make it work.
Yeah, the deck I made today is very much a theme deck. This is very much a deck that I would take to League Night.
I kind of hope you do build this deck and bring it to a league night because I think it would be fun to play against.
It definitely this is definitely a third draft. Um, because I can pick for all of us like these decks we made these decks in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. So,
We
well,
had this idea
Matt,
last. Oh, look at that. We had this idea last week, and we all waited till last minute.
oh, so, Matt, since we were kind of talking about your deck, let's dive right into your deck first.
I put
First
my,
question for you.
I
First
put
question for you. Oh yeah, no, we're putting you on the spot first. We're making you do. We're
I
making
put
you go first.
I put my deck last on the stone note for a specific
Oh,
reason.
whoops.
Yes, but on my screen, your deck comes up first. So I'm going by my screen.
Ugh.
Uh, why did you choose the cards that you did, your Duel Link cards that you did, and not like you were building, but why did you choose this card specifically? And then tell us a little bit about your deck.
So I decided, um, cause I like a challenge, so I let you guys pick your codes first, and then so after you guys pick your codes, what would rep with Amber and Ruby, and I had two choices. I had Pirate or Racer, and Pirate I built so much rat that I felt like this time around I wanted to do the Racer cards because I was kind of interesting with the mechanic around them seemed to be the sacrificing them and sending them back to your hand. So I felt that was kind of interesting, so I messed around with that. Let me pull up mine because I thought we were going to do Goth first, so I had that one up. Um, so the main two I really focusing on with Calhoun and King Candy with the dual codes, and these two have great symmetry. Because King Candy, when you ban it, you're wasted. Your opponent bans it a character, and Calhoun did whatever they challenged. Um, you can return one waster from your discard to your hand, and it was kind of fun to mess around with. King Candy, once you can get him going, oh, like there were several times I got them two out on the field, and then I'll just like sacrifice one of my races into another one. Was very enjoyable to like watch my opponent board that blowed up, and like he makes it so like it's no longer really trading. It I come if I decide to trade one of my racers into one of my opponent characters, it's now a 2-for-1 for me. Um, and also if my opponent decides to attack one of my racers, they have to also sacrifice one of their characters, so it's a guarantee that they're losing someone. So they either have to trade or do sacrifice two characters that they kick out one of mine.
So you said that you were able to play this on Inktable for a little bit. Did you find any initial weaknesses or points about your deck that you think you would change in iteration two?
Yeah. Out of order it out. I threw that in. I had found zero use for it. Uh, I threw in Wreck-It Ralph Hero Duty because I'm the plan is to like to ban it a bunch of my own stuff, so he'll gain law. Never played him. Um, he was always getting inked, so I would take him out. Um, and I would probably mess around with the land. Honestly, so I threw in the Cigarette Speedways because I like them and they are good low gain.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this deck is going. I'm going for something different with this deck. Um, so I'm thinking I might actually end up taking those out and focusing more on just being a lot more removal with focusing on getting rated out and then focusing on just removing them.
Mm. So, quick question: why the flotilla for
They
location?
so my rule of thumb, well, one of the best advice I've gotten in card games is you want about 12 triggers for anything to guarantee. And then the Penelope, Lavender Rope that gets roll out of locate and draw a card, and the which one? The Taffety, butchering that name. When you
Taffin
move
and
a
Mutton Fudge. Yeah.
yeah, when they move that character, you gain 2 roll. So I wanted to make sure I had at least 12 locations in my deck to help
Okay.
to make sure I can always get the location triggered. And especially since the Jogo at Speedway, it's 6 roll to move to. I definitely wanted to make sure I had a second cheap location to move to.
Yeah. Were there any other locations you thought of that you'd bring in?
100. I like 100 Acre Island.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of that one, and that one is also inkable with none of my locations right now. All and yeah, I think that will be one of the ones I would add.
Okay. So looking at this, it sounds like going forward, you're going to bring it lower to the ground. As
Yeah,
far as getting rid of the Wreck-It Ralph, the high cost Wreck-It Ralph, and the out of order. Do you think you'd still keep in the majority of your like higher cost, like Fix It Felix Jr.?
so right now I'm only wanting 2 of him, and like honestly, I haven't had a chance to play him when I'm playing on Inktable. I don't even really realize if I drew him. That one thing I don't like about Inktable is that I feel like I see like all my copies of like D cards and then the recall of the never see.
Yeah.
Um, so I haven't got a really chance to play him. So I would probably keep him for the next round and see. But one of the we were talking about earlier how I start with a type and then I save up what doesn't work and then add that good cards.
Yeah.
So I would probably just throw in the legendary Hades that you pay 3 ink, ban it one of your characters, ban it um or opponent character. Because then if I ban it the Racer and King Candied out, my opponent is losing 2 cards.
Oh, we
Um,
found a use for the nearly the worst legendary.
he is by far he's far from the world.
I don't
There's
know.
a,
Sacrifice your own character to banish another character. I think he has uses, but it's like in a deck like this.
he's more playable than Gone to.
Gatsu's inkable though,
That's
right?
true. He is inkable. Um, but also and also I would like to find a better 1-drop. But I also probably like if I'm switching out a lot of my non-inkable land, I'll probably throw in some of the rut rated, but all the rated with rut are inkable. Are not inkable.
Oh yeah.
So I would try to maybe move away from the location aspect a bit and maybe focus more on the rut aspect. So then it'd be I have King Candy out, and then as soon as you turn second sideways, I'll just play a low cost rut character rater, and that rut them into your character, big characters, and then that blow them up.
Hmm.
Oh my god, this big became a call bomb deck.
About the terrorist.
uh,
Kamikaze racers. I like it though.
yep. Yeah, so that's probably what I would do. I'd probably the focus, get rid of the location side of it and focus more on just the weighted blowing up.
So, I don't. Sorry, did you say that you would try to throw in the Jolly Roger?
No.
Okay, because that what does it cost to move to the Jolly Roger? Is it 1? That's the one that gives your characters rush and pirates move for free.
Oh, I could do that one.
Just to
That would,
like really throw in the so you don't have to do the
yeah.
rush racers, but you have that, and then but it might be too much to move. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, okay. No, I like theme. I'm excited to play against it. Did you ever try playing on Inktable? Like have the AI use your deck?
Yeah.
How did that turn out? Did it feel like the AI understood your strategy, or was it making questionable plays.
Inkay will always make questionable trades. Um, yeah, I felt like I put it around before. I don't think it's. So like it was at like play trigger at Speedway at weird times, and that it definitely doesn't mulligan right when I feel like you need to like heavily try to mulligan for the one drop Gilgamesh Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
But like he did do well with the King Candy, and then that's like made it a lot harder for me to blow up stuff. I mean,
You don't blow things up in this game. You banish them.
yeah.
Uh,
You know, like Inkay did really well with your deck.
yeah, well, it's because it's my deck is like 48 characters or something. 44. I don't know. It's an absurdly. I don't know. I don't say straightforward, but there's some nuance.
Yeah.
Scott, you have any questions for Matt about his deck? What goes on inside the mind of?
No, Matt is a very straightforward when he's deck building. You know when he's playing a card, you know what the rest of the deck is going to be like.
Not as many curveballs. Yeah.
Yeah, I I love the racer decks. I'm interested to play against this.
hmm Yeah, I like
I'm in
the
my
like.
head as you guys are talking. I'm in my head going, okay, what's my threat? What do I need to take care of?
Yeah, I do like the non racer cards that you have included. I think all of those cards are solid choices. So the brawl. I mean, mine. Well, okay, the one's not a racer, and you said you were going to get rid of it, but the um, out of order. But I like the like brawl for removal, teeth and ambitions. I think fits well, but even though it's not on theme, but everything else is and other than flotilla is pretty much on theme.
Well, I was able to pull off with So I had a 2 cost racer, or a 2 willpower racer, and my opponent had 3 characters on the field, and I had 2 King Candies. So I just no, yeah, I had 2 King Candies. So I put the T Bandits in,
Mm-hmm.
uh, damaged my 2 willpower racer. They went away. Damaged one of my opponent's characters. They went away, and then the King Candy the effect triggered, and my opponent had to ban it, hit 2 remaining characters.
Yeah, I have to say it's fun getting a uh, almost one-sided be prepared off doing something like that. But I think it just feels bad when you're like, oh, I killed off one of my cards.
Well, I mean that's also like that's why you have the Calhouns and stuff to get them back, because then it doesn't matter, and then also you know your characters are a resource like anything else. You just gotta know when to use them.
It's like a I don't know, very I don't want to say sociopathic of you, but just
They're
use the
not.
characters to just blow things up. I don't know, and just blow them up if you need to, and then use them to quest when you really care.
It's not like Wizard Chat Harry Potter where the game pieces.
Okay, fine, fair enough. I'm not psychoanalyzing you based off of your deck building decisions yet.
Uh,
All right, Scott, you want to go next, or you want me to go?
I can go
Or
next.
okay.
We had enough fun picking on Matt. Now it's your turn to pick on me.
All right, so Scott's deck is showing on screen now. You had Amethyst Steel. Now, was there a specific card that made you choose those colors?
Absolutely. When the card previews came out and I immediately saw the new Jafar card that is the Duel Link, I immediately knew I wanted to build a deck around Jafar. Um, not only because he's the big bad for the storyline, but I just think it's going to be a fun card to build around. And the illusion keyword is brand new. And that, like I was saying earlier, my deck is very heavy of set 7 cards because of that illusion keyword. A lot of the cards deal with illusions, so I had to put the illusions in there.
Um, oh, Matt, did you want to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. So I was going to ask you, Matt. So when you played this against this, or did you play this deck on Table, or both?
I played it both.
Okay. What were your initial thoughts when you were trying to pilot this deck?
It needs more just a little bit more oomph. Because I was talking to Scott before we started recording. The first time I played it, I got the perfect setup with what's that default name? Default striking irritant, the one that gained low every time you draw on your turn when it started. Like I
Hmm.
played him turn 5, sifted him turn 5, sang a whole new ward, and got no other draw card.
Mm.
I feel like when you have him in a deck, you really need to put a lot more draw with him.
Hmm.
So
So,
and that would be where my suggestion is to throw in a couple of the one drop Sandbox Ball with Diablo to get the draw, friend on the other side, maybe Rabbit, maybe Genie.
That's funny. Most of the cards that he's suggesting are cards I took out
Yeah.
because they didn't fit my theme.
Um, and so yeah, so it's a couple kings. I feel like I the deck had some interesting stuff, and I just feel like that he doesn't need to be fine tuned. Um, I feel like when you king till Amethyst with the fall, you want to wheel, and I think that's what my mind is going towards. But I don't
hmm
think that what
See,
Scott wants.
no, and
Yeah,
this is where you're seeing where Matt and me completely differ on deck building. Matt is always focused on competitive playing and synergy, and I don't care. My decks are just themed that I'm just playing for fun. If I
Well,
don't win with them, I don't care. My decks aren't designed to win.
you definitely hit hard on the Jafar theme. You've got
Yes.
the the steel 2-drop Jafar that gets evasive on your turn. The 3-drop
I think I added
Jafar.
every Jafar there was in these colors.
Yeah.
no, you missed one. The that what one that get called equal to the size of your hand. Oh, crank equal to the size of
Oh,
your
Oh,
hand.
yeah,
yeah,
I
the
did.
Amber.
Yeah,
Or sorry, Amethyst one. Yep.
I did
We're
miss that.
ashamed. Shame. Shame.
cause yeah, he played well with it because if you're going for that's having the illusion that they get returned to your hand, um, then that's having that to fall potentially get a lot bigger because of that is really useful.
Hmm.
I wish there was more illusions.
This is how it goes a lot of times. Where like when they introduce something new, the sprinkle it in, and then you slowly get more of the stuff goes. So we'll probably get a lot more root in deck depth.
Yeah, I'm
I
thinking
hope
next
so.
set. Yeah. So Scott's deck has a little power jump after this set, and when Jafar's Reign comes out, or Reign of Jafar, is it Reign of Jafar? Jafar's Reign? Anyone know?
It's Reign of Jafar.
Okay.
And I had to throw Donald Duck in just because it's the new Donald.
I love the artwork on that card. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's a seven cost. Opponents need 25 lore to win the game.
Yes.
Oh, it's so wild. Yeah.
Um, and it's funny that you're talking about the Jafar Striking Illusionist. That's actually the card I would probably remove from this deck.
Yeah. So
He's in there because he fits the theme, but him and the Maleficent actually would probably be the first cards I take away.
yeah, honestly, with what you're saying, I would just focus the deck to be just a big challenging um deck. Oh, you have the Diablo in here. Why would I never drawing it?
It's because he only had 3 and not 4.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
Okay, to be honest, speaking of that, the reason why all of my cards are 3 or 2, basically, is when I first built this deck, I had 212 cards in this deck.
Wow, that
I
that's
actually
pretty
had
impressive.
to narrow it down because I had so many cards.
Now I don't feel bad when I'm like making decks. I'm like, oh, I'm at 80 cards. I have to get down to 60. Now that I hear that Scott's like, I was at
Yeah.
200.
I was at 200 because I pretty much put in amethyst and steel card that either gave you evasive or uh they all did something. I left out all of the vanilla cards and then I looked at them like, okay, I'm trying to do a Jafar themed. And when I then looked at just the Jafar cards, that's when I could like, okay, these cards could go away because they do nothing.
hmm
Cards, they just weren't on theme.
Yeah. So I would say if you want to lean into the challenging theme, like Matt said, yeah, I would say take out the high cost Jafar. Um, I mean, I don't even know if I would include the 6 cost one. He's fun. The
Yeah.
Challenger plus 7.
Yeah. I wouldn't have
But
him there.
the uh, yeah, I think is there an amethyst card? Isn't there like stuff like name the top card of your deck, reveal it if it's that named card?
Yeah.
Because you have so
The-
many
Yeah.
Jafars, like it might even be fun to just throw a couple of those in
Again,
if you're going wild.
I had
But
it in here and I booted it.
um. Honestly, I would probably throw in Thebes. Um. Just so like you can move the illusions have a lot higher strength and willpower for the cost. So putting them on feed to gain extra roll from them would be very helpful.
all right, and just because we don't have it
I
on
had
screen,
thieves and booted it.
Scott's like I'm 10 steps ahead of you all.
Yeah,
Thebes is the
I booted it. It just
Thebes is
wasn't on
the
theme.
2
Well,
ink location where during your turn when a character banishes another character in a challenge while here gain 2 lore.
but that's also another thing too. Like, don't be afraid when you deck building if you take step out and then you like to put card back in. Um,
Yeah, that's the so pro tip number 2. I don't know for today. Make sure that you always save a copy, and if you're going to make edits, just duplicate your deck and then save as. So that way it's easy to go back. Oh, I didn't like this version, and leave yourself a description like took out this, added this. It'll make it 100 times easier to kind of evaluate your decks.
I have to go completely off topic for one moment because I just noticed something.
Uh
I think one of the cards just might have spoiled a card for set 8.
oh. Okay.
oh, which one?
If you look at the Treasure Guardian, the Foreboding Century, this is the card that when you play this character, if you have an illusion character in play, you may draw a card.
Oh,
The
you see that?
sand is a sand of a boo. The other sand are doing the 3 illusions from this set.
Well,
Boo doesn't have an illusion.
the
There's
magic
also a
card?
magic carpet too.
Yeah.
I think that's supposed to be the snake.
Maybe.
It could be a carpet, but we got Yago and we got Raja.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
I was just I was as
Yeah.
I was looking at the artwork as we were talking.
Yeah, it's interesting because Raja typically you would assume is like a friend of the heroes, Aladdin and Jasmine. But obviously this is after Jafar has done something magical to them.
No, I think it is the follow the summoning copies of them.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just picturing him taking everyone over with this little hypnotize thing.
That's
know.
true.
All right. Well, stay tuned. Hopefully, we'll have another lore episode coming out. I mean, Scott, I'll help you with that if you want. Dig up stuff, dig into some of these cards because I'm excited for the next set. See what they. I mean, also from this set, just poking around, but I'm assuming we're going to get another story-based or story-heavy set in Jafar's reign or reign of Jafar. Is it time to go to my crazy deck?
Yeah.
So I chose green blue or emerald sapphire, and I mainly focused around Baymax. I don't think I had any other dual ink cards in here, did I?
Oh, the hero.
You got two.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I do. Sorry, it's just hard for me to see. So I have the hero, 7-drop that if your shifted cards have, or your floodborn characters have a card underneath them, they get evasive and ward, and the yokai to make shifting will cost 1 less. So, yeah, I mean that's pretty much all you need to know is that this deck is entirely about shifting stuff out early, or for cheap, and hoping to refill your hand with Clarabelle because there were a couple of fun plays. So I did play this hunting table. There are a couple of fun things that I've done, and just to like, I think there's a lot of improvement that can be made. But some of the fun things that I remember doing were using Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo on the Baymax to get extra quests in when you're not expecting, or when you have extra ink, so you can quest and then shift him onto something else and shift again, or using Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, say that 3 times fast, on the Basil to draw cards with the item Baymax Charging Station out, because basically I got 3 draws each time that I did that, which was a lot of fun. But the deck is generally very weak to if they have got hard spot removal. So if you get Be Prepared, you're kind of screwed. If I mean, not that people are playing Dragonfire, but a lot of the shift target or like shift cards aren't Dragonfireable, which is nice because they'll have ward. But the mass removal is really what hurts this deck, and typically the only thing that will get that is the Be Prepared. So it's something you have to pay attention to. I don't know. I threw in the Greatstone Dragon because I'm running 44 characters, but honestly, I didn't use it that often. So I'd probably dump that. It's not ramp isn't that essential to this. And Baymax Charging Station, it's fun, but it's just slow. It's really slow. So I would probably dump that in favor of something else too. Yeah.
I would probably take out those 2 items and then throw in Popsicles and throw in Inkcaster.
So I don't know about Inkcaster because I'm only running 8 uninkables.
So Inkcaster, you to play for the draw, and then I also would be running the bell. One of the things that I was thinking up for you is running the new Sapphire Bell, the Apprentice Inventor. And
right.
and so the Inkcaster, you can build them up to play her for free because that's still a deal. You're still playing her cheaper. And then also, yeah, throw in the bell. So you can also do the Floodborn Hidden Altar. I would take out your Bezos in the deck because there's a throw. What we do Bell Hidden Altar and then also do the Pegasus. Because Pegasus 1 will help protect your Morp. Because they get invaded into the start of your next turn, so you can feel like questing with that Morp will be harder for them to get take out that Morp.
Yeah, I mean, so what I only played against a red purple deck, like when I don't know someone's DLC champion, whatever red purple deck. But the main thing that I noticed is that it didn't matter. Like they would get spot removed. A lot of my shift targets through brawl or Sisu or whatever else, and so that makes it very painful to play this deck when you're like, next turn I'm going to shift onto my Clarabelle, and then they brawl your Clarabelle, and it hurts.
Yeah, and the one thing I was doing too is that like I would play in Morp, put the dip and tip target, and then be like, okay, hopefully they're not both dead.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Well,
definitely some mind games you can play, like pretend like you have like the high cost Clarabelle or something, even if you don't, to make them want to remove it, and then maybe shift something else onto like I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't have I guess Basil's my only smaller shift target right now, but yeah, I think
well,
this deck is a lot of fun though. It's the
it
incurve looks obnoxious.
it's a great. Well, one thing is I found that if your higher end sub all have tipped abilities, that kind of a more accurate curve, because you're not necessarily playing them for the higher cost.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I like the deck. I think you have a good, fun idea. I definitely think it needs a bit of dropping out, but I think the core is good. And then what were the other? Oh, some of the other targets I was thinking about maybe to check out is Jasmine Royal Commander,
Mm-hmm.
and then Gaton Intellectual Powerhouse. Morph is probably gonna be your tip target for those, but Gaton is gonna give you card draw a bit, and he quits for free roll, and then Jasmine potentially is bouncing everything back. Um,
Oh, right. Jasmine is the bounce exerted.
yeah, if you tip her.
Right. Okay. I could see that potentially working. Um, yeah, I mean, Basil wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Honestly, or sorry, the shift for 5, draw 2. Oh, he doesn't even have ward. Why did I think he have ward? What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Kick Cloud Kicker. Hilarious. Um, not as good then. Uh, I mean, that's another option is maybe going down the Cloud Kicker route. You don't get the
Yeah,
card
that
draw,
would
but
be good.
you
Look,
get the delay for the early game, and then you get high questing power.
like I had to actually, because I had other stuff to do. I had to actually stop myself from like building my version of the deck, and really what I would do is I would sit like I'll still have the heroes, I'll still have the morphs, I'll still have the Baymax, but I would probably then just lean heavily into bounce.
Hmm.
So like run the Jasmine, run the the 2-drop kick cow. I might well run the Flood Bowl one too if I'm running the 2-drop the bounce one.
Yeah.
Um, and then run the muted and throw in some songs, and then that makes it that turns it into a bounce deck.
Mm.
Also, another thing I was thinking is that doing yokai and microbot. Um, see
I
the Flood
I had a second version of this deck with
one.
microbots, and I was it was I was in the situation where I was at 80 cards and I didn't know what to cut, and I was like, it's gonna take me too long to refine this. Whereas this deck, it was very straightforward. It's like, okay, include Baymax, include Hero, include Yokai, and then everything else should be a shift target, or you have to have a really good reason to have it. So the only non thing that's not a shift target is the Yokai, because I don't have his shift target because I don't have microbots.
I mean,
And
I did the Baymax on him a bunch.
yeah, yeah, and then
Oh,
also Tipo, um, just to be a Baymax target and to ramp you to be able to play Baymax on turn 3.
but I will like when I playing playing Kotgak again, and then Inkable playing Yogak, and then I was facing down 3 Baymaxes, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that Baymax card is very hard to take care of.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Did you get a chance to do any bibbity bobbity boo shenanigans?
Um, not a little bit. So like I Billy Boppity Boo, um, Yokai and Baymax. Uh, I bit about it a couple times I gacked, and then I would just play the tip target. I played that for free,
Hmm.
and then immediately tipped again to get like the draw effect and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I'd be interested to see if other people want to take a crack at this. I purposely avoided the Ink Geyser only because I didn't like. I think this deck can get out to a decent advantage, but you have to sacrifice kind of your turn two. So if you're playing someone who just plays a turn one, turn two, turn three, it's probably not that great. But having the cost reduction in Yokai, it might be worth trying to throw that in here just to see against like your, like I said, Be Prepared is probably your biggest um, threat once you get 2 or 3 shift cards out. Um, so, and the other thing is maybe include some songs where you're shifting. When you shift early, you can sing and get immediate value.
Scott,
But
did you have anything about the thoughts on the deck?
The only thing I'm worried about on this deck, I know you briefly mentioned about it, is your low cost characters are very easily destroyed very fast with action cards.
hmm yeah, if I run against Steel, I'm sure it will be a nightmare. But the goal for that is just, you know, make them waste their ammo on your low cost cards, and you can still play, you know, your Baymax or, I mean, I have enough characters that Baymax can shift onto because it can shift onto anything. Um, but yeah, it's definitely if they know and they get lucky. Like if you got 3 different shift targets and they hit the one that you have left in your hand, it kind of stinks a lot. Um, but I would say Clarabelle is definitely the card you want to see the most on turn 5. Um, yeah, the because it you just run out of steam. So I don't think I would take this to any kind of tournament yet, but definitely test it out at League Night. Play it around. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I could do on the low end. Maybe swing in some more aggro-y cards, um, like Flynn Riders and the Curse Merfolk, just to like get some obnoxious lore gain to start, and then shift and basically have no cards in hand, but just kind of quest a victory and hope that they don't get their big removal in time.
I will admit, I think this is the first deck I've seen with such a interesting cost curve.
So for those of you who can't do the math in your head, I've got 8 1 drops, 16 2 drops, 16 3 drops, 0 4 and 5 drops, 12 6 drops, and 8 7 drops. So
Like this is basically what the ink curve looked
yeah,
like.
Yes.
yeah, it's missing cards in the middle, but um, yeah, I didn't notice it too much honestly when I was playing. So
Yeah, no, because of the tips and stuff, like
the shift and
on
cost reduction,
the
yeah,
full.
Yeah, it balances it, but I'm still just if someone catches on, I still think this is a very easily defendable deck.
I
Like
think so too. Yeah.
especially yeah.
This is like
Yeah,
catch
what
someone off guard, turn game 1 and lose game 2 and 3.
Yeah.
yeah, with the why I'm thinking like if I were to do this, I would focus on the bounce. Maybe try to work in microbot that too, because a lot of the bounce is focused on strength. So you use the
Hmm.
microbot to weaken the strength so they can get hit by kick, crowd kicker, and the muted.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you just use the mana guide to make it so they can't immediately replay everything.
Hmm. Well, uh, these decks are open source. Feel free to copy them, manipulate them, make them better for us, and give them back to us better. I don't know. You guys have any other thoughts? Did you guys like this process? Kind of like choose a card and just build an entire deck around it. Was it too restrictive?
No, I think that is also how I build a lot of my deck. That I find a card or mechanic that I'm like, this looks fun. Let me see if I can build around it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I did.
And this is how I build decks: is I take a character or a theme and like, let's do that.
Yeah, I did try to include the Diablo initially, and then I was realized I had no actions to discard. I was like, and then costing like reducing the shift cost is not like it doesn't do anything. But yeah, no, I think this has been a lot of fun. I wish I had more time to do this more often, and I wish people would try to do this more often and not be afraid to come up with weird decks to League. Because I don't know. It's fine. I like playing against people who have good decks, but I also like playing against wild, off the wall, fun decks too.
And I think when we start getting to the bigger card pool, I think every tap will start into a little bit more and more of that.
Hmm.
But some of it is just because of how culture is, because like the nature of games right now is getting very competitive. I had like a Warhammer podcast I was listening to talking about this. Just because of all the resources we have online with just like putting your decks on social media to get into depth and then watching tournament results and the meta, it's now a lot easier for the more casual people to be competitive and to get the more competitive builds because there's so many resources. So
Yeah,
just competitiveness on a whole for most games nowadays are just going up.
yeah, I can see that. It's a very astute observation. But
Then you have people like me who just don't care.
And that's it. You just go to the league nights and you play against them. And I think we
yeah,
have some fun with our current group at league night.
yeah, yeah. I should say that that's not necessarily representative of our current group, but I know that people are like, "Why do you play unless you're going to play the best deck?" And it's like,
And like,
because I want to have fun, or I want to
yeah,
learn something new about the game.
but it's also funny too because like when you do have like one of those like off meta decks that is surprisingly good, like everyone at league night complains that my broom deck is scary. And like it brooms.
I just think it's scary because you always forget about the location where you can move all your brooms for free and basically double your lore questing for the next turn.
It's so satisfying to top deck that right when you need it.
Hmm. Like, oh, he's at 12. He only has 3 brooms on board. I'm fine. Just kidding.
Yeah, you've top decked me a couple of times with that. He's just like, I know.
uh, well, I look forward to building. Are you guys going to build this when you get your hands on new cards? The decks that you
So
came up
I
with?
am.
I might
I am
build.
definitely building Jabbar.
I'll probably at some point build the Racers, but right now my plan is number one. I want to build a emblem Sapphire deck.
Hmm.
I'm also going to try to, since I like Silksong so much, I'm also going to build Silksong, and then just because I like doing this, I'm gonna try to build an Amethyst Ruby deck because those are the two colors I haven't done. Um, because I just find it fun to like, okay, I'm building the colors, I'm building the colors. Well, what about these last two colors?
Hmm.
So I want to build those three decks first, and then and then I'll start slowly going from there.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to stick to my Baja Blast current version that I have and edit it, but also build this one and try to do a more character heavy, less song heavy one, and see which just for me it's to better understand. Okay, what are the benefits of you know these higher cost characters I can get out early, and what's the benefit of getting more bang for your buck out of all of the songs through the Muses Baja Blast Bounce deck, and then hopefully find a happy medium from what I learned from playing both. And they don't overlap too much, so that's nice. Other than I need 4 Clarabelles, so 4 more to make this. I'm already borrowing Matt's.
The Jafar is probably my second deck I'm going to build up the new set. Um, I'm definitely building a Ruby Sapphire based around Bell
Mm.
first.
Hmm.
That's also Yeah, that's also what I'm thinking about. Like, if I don't end up using all my microbot in the um M on Tapio deck, then I'm probably just going to refocus my current microbot deck with the Tapio Ruby to incorporate the belt and go from there.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I think we've exhausted our knowledge about these decks. I'm looking forward to playing them, seeing you guys bring them, and wiping people's or how do I say this? Wiping the floor with people and picking their jaw off the floor after they're like, "What in the world kind of deck is this?" Especially
And then
Matt's.
and then we're going to be like, well, maybe you should listen to our podcast.
Yeah, all the creative genius squeezed into the just us three.
Well, you two.
Yeah,
I'm just here.
don't
And
sell
yet you
yourself. Don't
two
sell yourself short.
and yet you have back-to-back league wins.
Yeah,
That's just because I play the points with theme decks.
You still get a decent amount of wins. There was
yeah,
a several week that you was in the top.
yeah. Matt was saying you can't get max points without at least winning. So
'Cause I was actually looking at it. The way you had the themes built, I was guaranteed 7 points every single week, even if I lost every game.
Yeah, I need to sit down and like I definitely going to tweak how the points were. Cause I think I don't know. So like it we I think this is probably not good stuff for the podcast. Um but yeah, I definitely tweaking how we do league points a little bit. That to try to get the curve down a little bit, the average down a little bit more to make it easier for if people miss a week to try to make it up.
you don't need to do that for me since I'm consistently missing like every other week. But
It's not just you, but like yeah, I basically like I want it to be a little bit more like, oh, it's the last week of league. I really gotta go to try to like get in the pot when like this last one, it
mhm.
like the top two people was locked in. Nothing was gonna stop. Well, me and Cock. No
Yeah,
one gonna knock me and Cock out. Um, third place was like 10 point behind it, and then fourth place was like 10 point behind them. So like I want to try to like I want a little bit more of a rate going on there. So I want to try to see if I can't make it get those numbers a little bit closer, so that way it gets to the point where like, cause the guy that came in third skipped the last week because he had so many points.
oh
So
jeez.
no,
No,
he had
he didn't
other
skip it
plans.
because he had so many
Yeah,
points. He had other plans.
but also
Yeah,
still got third without showing up. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
So I did want to try to get to the point where like to get a little bit more balance. Because I think I was trying to get the competitive people to actually like have a chance, and now I've made created so like I'm not sorry, the casual people to have a chance to be in the running for points, and now it just feels like all the casual people running away with it, and now I'm trying to figure out like
I have
okay,
no
how
problem with that.
Pigry, how can I force God to actually go for the Conway point?
You just want to see me in the bell dress.
oh,
Honestly, the Bio 1D.
thought that was the new rule. Onesies don't count as cosplay. Needs to be at
No, I
least
never
two
Onesies don't
agreed
independent
that.
pieces of clothing.
But also, Caroline hit that for me, so I would stop wearing it.
good for her. Any last minute thoughts before we sign off?
No, I'm excited. We've got T minus from recording. I think 2 weeks until new cards come out, right? So less than two.
It's a little under 2
So
weeks.
by the time
Yeah.
this episode comes out, I believe it'll be 1 week until the cards come out. So it'll be perfect timing for people to test out these decks and make some edits and have fun on their first or second week of League.
Well, make sure you guys hit us up, give us some likes, in the comments what you thought about the decks. Let us know what you would do differently or what you think would work for you guys. And until next time, Illumineers, adventure awaits.